Hey, welcome back to the journey to Super Smash Bros. I'm going to be playing all of these games, and for today's episode is Super Mario World. This is a game that means a lot to me. It's a game I grew up on, and it's a game that I am nostalgic for. So let's move on and see what I think about it now and where I will rank it. So we boot up the game, and we get treated to this wonderful title screen with the iconic, colorful Super Mario World title. But really, I never noticed all the wood planks on the outside of the screen. Some part of me thinks it looks off, but at least it's charming. And it's always fun to see a demo in the background that really showcases what you're in for. Alright, let's start the game. And kinda awkwardly, we get thrusted to this random screen explaining the story so far. I don't know, seems a little clunky to me, but at least it's to the point. Here we get a look at the map. Seems a little tiny, but that's on purpose knowing this is the tutorial island. First thing I do is enter Yoshi's home, and it's not really like a real level, but it's always really nice to see how much effort they put into the screen, with those 4 colored birds at the top kinda representing each colored Yoshi, Yoshi's mailbox, they even have a chimney, what the? I guess Yoshis know how to deal with firewood. Hitting this bigger thing tells us that he's currently not home. Alright, on to Yoshi's Island 1. And holy moly, that's a big bullet. With a dinosaur? Past and future collide, I guess. This level already doesn't feel like a traditional Mario level from the previous games we played so far. That giant bullet is almost kinda shouting at you that, hey, this isn't the same game you've been playing. We will throw curveballs. And these dinosaurs too, it's like when you got used to stomping on Goombas or stomping on Koopas, this Rex is like, nah, I got 2 lives. It's just some small choices to show that this game means business. It's always a nice surprise whenever a mushroom flies out of a bush like that. And here I show off the spin jump. It was introduced here and also kind of a precursor to like the butt stomp because it lets you break blocks below. And aside from breaking the blocks below, it has a multitude of uses. I find it to have a lower jump height whenever you're running at full speed. It's also very handy when hopping onto enemies that would hurt you if you jumped on them normally. If I was playing all these games for the first time, I would have never thought they would have just come up with a second jump. 2 jumps for 2 different purposes. Those mad lads. Now I guess here I'll talk about those dragon coins. There's like 5 in every level, and if you collect all 5 you get a 1-up. Now they're not too noteworthy, but what I found really awesome about these coins is oftentimes they're placed in areas that kind of force you to play a little better, or they're in a tricky spot, so it's kind of worth the challenge to try grabbing them. Overall, I love the addition. Now here you'll see me absolutely fumble the 1-up. They have this shell placed right under this block in order for you to shoot it upwards. That's kind of like a tutorial to find out that you can shoot turtle shells upward, and really anything you can hold on to for that matter. But I got stuck in the clouds by accident. Whoops. I still get that 1-up though. Huh, and there's some outlines of blocks missing. Weird. Alright, now we get the fire flower. Now let me tell you everything this flower can do in this game. Just kidding, it does the same thing as it always has. But Mario does get his iconic colors in this game. And oh yeah, this is a Super Nintendo game, so all the colors just look amazing and the video looks amazing as well. Most likely why they were able to give him this new outfit, and I think he looks great. Actually, the fire flower does have a new ability. It turns enemies into coins. What a horrifying fate. And I completely forgot to talk about the song that plays. Everybody knows this song, even if you never played this game. Really though, this is a song that does get stuck in my head from time to time. Hey, get a look at that football player in this dinosaur land that's doing jumping jacks. I love him. Well, moving on to that finish line. If you cross that bar, then you get some points added to the top of the screen. We'll find out what that does later. And the classic Mario doing the peace sign at the end of the level. Back to the world map, we do see that Mario terraforms in order to get across the map. I mean, that's probably not what they're going for. I just thought it sounded silly. And we make our way to the Yellow Switch Palace. These levels are usually odd because they're just a puzzle. I mean, this one's not much of a puzzle. Just hit the P-switch, make coins appear. I think I would have liked something more because later on, they really are puzzles. Oh yeah, we hit that switch and then we get yellow blocks to fly everywhere. It's honestly really strange, but I think it's cool the way they use this. It's such a reward for exploring the map and finding them, while also maybe being like a source of challenge if you don't want to press a button. Now we head back down and start that second level. Now this level starts with the moment a lot of people remember this game for. You grab that shell and throw it down a line of turtles to get a 1-up, but I had the fire flower, so as soon as I threw the shell, I also hit the button to shoot a fireball, turning the shell into a coin, but at least I still stepped on another turtle and got a 1-up anyway. And hooray, look at that, it's Yoshi. His very first introduction. And what an introduction. This guy brings so much to this game. The music changes to have like a drum beat in the background. He eats fruit, stomps enemies out of existence, and he can grab things with his tongue. Hey football player that runs at us. And here's where you first see like how the yellow blocks help you out. Hitting these yellow blocks gives you a mushroom guaranteed. And throughout the whole game, you'll get many moments where hitting that yellow switch benefits you. I just love that a decision like that rewards you throughout the whole game. And then Yoshi laid an egg, which was another mushroom. He's just so freaking awesome. We go into this small cave where we pick up bricks in order to throw them up into the mystery blocks above us. Which, looking back on this now, this is kind of a tutorial for what comes at the end of the game. Just a random thought I had, but amazing game design, I think. I forgot to mention that piranha plants in this game like fly up and then come back down. There are many odd things like this in this game. And also I'm barely gonna mention the fact that a second item gets put into the top of the screen and you can call on it whenever you want, or it comes down when you take damage. It's such an interesting mechanic. But speaking about how you lose your power up, when you get hit once, you go straight down to Little Mario immediately. I could have sworn it was like you take a hit to go to Mushroom mode and then you take another hit to go Little, but man, I guess I just misremembered. Third level has all these spinny platforms, you know, just teaching you how to do better platforming, I guess. There's a fascinating thing here where if you eat a red Koopa, Yoshi then spits out fireballs. And this whole first world is very tutorial-y, because the next level has some water, so if you really need to, you can get in there to learn how swimming works. I end up taking a pipe that takes you to these spiny guys. Yoshi can just eat them. I hope that doesn't hurt his mouth. But it does hurt his body, and then he jumps off the cliff. Bye, Yoshi. Something very odd though, if you have a Yoshi and a spiny spawns in, then they have 5 stacks, but if you're not on a Yoshi, it just has 3. I'm not too sure what to make of that. And here I fumble another small challenge that maybe like 7-year-old me could have done easily. So I pick up the star first and then I grab the turtle shell to get the P-switch, but because I had the star and threw the turtle shell, the shell immediately died. I had no choice but to run in the water. Welcome to the first castle, where we're greeted to this like little cutscene where Mario walks up to the door, looks up, and then walks in. It's so good at just setting the atmosphere, especially with that music. And here we learn how to climb on these gates, but I guess something that's really cool about this level is you can hit enemies on the other side and also hit this switchy gate thing that puts you in the background. It always blew my mind as a kid. And wait, do you see that? Is that an auto-scroller in my favorite game? We just have to stomach it, but it's gonna be okay. Dodging the giant slamming thing later, there's a big red door, where we find Iggy Koopa. Now in Super Mario Bros. 3, I did say that I think it's cool that they decided to create a different boss for every world, but all of them kind of fought the same, they just had slightly different gimmicks. In this game they have like vastly different gimmicks, but unfortunately like 2 of each of them share the same gimmick. Even though this first boss is pretty good, you just gotta jump on him so he slides off the platform. Very good tutorial boss. And here starts the wonderful castle destroying animation. I just love to see in which ways Mario is gonna destroy someone's property. This time he just blows it up with a bomb. Kinda like he was a part of a wrecking crew, maybe. And now we head off to Donut Land, where we get this game's silly naming conventions where it's all kinda like food based. Alright, now that we got our training wheels off, we finally find the cape. And I'm gonna make a bold statement. I like the cape more than I like the raccoon. They're very similar, very similar actually, but the flying just feels much more Superman kind of amazing, and Mario doesn't have to put a tail on. And hey, football player that is playing baseball today. Back to the flying though. I think it's also cool that flying requires like a bit of a skill that the game doesn't teach you, but you can figure it out. And even when you know how to do it, you still have to execute it, which really feels like you earn your ability to fly, rather than it was given to you. There's even a specific room that helps you practice how to fly. And then we find our first secret exit, and this is where I have to gush. This game is called Super Mario World, right? And these secret exits make it feel like you're actually exploring a world. Like sure, Super Mario Bros. 3 had like a lot of secrets in that game, but Super Mario World is built on secrets. The whole game is an adventure where you just search every nook and cranny to find new secrets. It really gives this game a sense of wonder that just doesn't go away. God, it's just so good. Alright, we head back to Donut Plains 1 so we can get to the other path. And then we get that bonus game. Get a tic-tac-toe in a row and you get some life. It's okay. This game really does give away a lot of lives, even more than the third game. We go to Donut Plains 2, Return of the Auto-Scroller. Like, I'm still not a fan of these kind of levels. It really is unfortunate it made a comeback. Ooh, is that a secret exit? Alright, now get a load of this blue shell that gives Yoshi wings. It's gonna be on the test later. And now we find the green switch room. You get this room where you drop a shell to the floor below, so that way that Koopa guy without a shell kicks it, so you can get an extra life. But I forgot that Yoshi slams things into out of existence. No one up for me. Let's hit that switch and get out of here. Now there's green blocks for all, which are even better than the yellow ones because they give you a free feather for some reason. God, this auto-scroller is so long. Then we make it out. Now our first Boo level. The first thing I gotta do is that one secret. Go to the top of the level, find the secret exit where you find heaven. A small level with a Yoshi and just power-ups. It's like a rest stop for Mario. A pit stop maybe? So now tackling the Boo level proper. These levels are always built in a way where it's just very confusing. Instead of going left to right like it always has been, these levels require a little more thought, and they try to trick you. So this one is a level where you enter a door and end up in a room. You get the P-switch to enter a secret door, then it puts you in a nothing room. Strange. Enter that next door, and now you're back in the same room that you left. Spooky. So instead of taking the obvious secret door, you're gonna just want to enter that yellow door twice. Suddenly the P-switch is now no longer there, and instead you find a vine tree. Climb that and let's get out of here. But yeah, that's usually the gist of most of these levels. I think it's awesome that they decided to create levels that just purposely trick you. It's such a switch up to normal levels, so I very much appreciate them. Now for Donut Plains 3, a level where you're high up, with so much platforming. With these cool platforms that are on rails, but you need to hit switches in order to switch like the railing, kind of like a train I guess. And we meet the Fuzzies, who I feel like have a habit of hanging around these kind of levels with the platforms on railings. Now the next Donut Plains, where here we'll find parachuting Goombas, who are also round. This game likes to switch things up a little, especially with this hammer bro who hangs on these two blocks and just throws hammers sporadically. It's kind of a fresh take. Also, these Goombas don't die on a stomp, they just flip over and then you can throw them at someone. This level also has a rainbow shell. This mythical shell, when Yoshi eats it, gets the power of a bunch of different stuff, which I'll go over later. This level also has like the first moon that I like to pick up. These moons give you like 3 lives and they're hidden in very secret spots, which is another fun collectible. Now let's go tackle that water level. Water levels haven't really changed much, but they did add this very neat mechanic to it, where holding up and then jumping lets you swim up higher and faster, while holding down and jumping makes it so you don't swim up as fast. Mastering this really helps these levels feel much better. There's also these cute like torpedo fish. They're always asleep when you run into them, but once you get close they wake up and just start chasing you, which could get dangerous. Such a good underwater level design. Alright, we use this P-switch in order to get to the secret exit, where we find our next Boo level. And Boos in this game do the same thing they did in the previous game, where if you're not looking at them they chase you down. But they also do a lot more weird stuff in this game, like make a circle that you need to run inside to progress. So this is a level with a secret Boo boss, the King Boo. Very simple fight where you just need to throw up blocks, kind of like in that one tutorial. Nothing too exciting really. But hey, I always do love when games have like a secret boss that's not even necessary. I could imagine some people play and beat this whole game without even realizing that this boss was here. This secret exit gives you access to the Star World, which we're gonna visit later. Finishing that Boo level, we enter a pipe to the next level. It's like an ice cave, and I forgot to mention this in the water level, so I'll mention it here. But Mario has like an inflated ability. It's a little strange. He eats a pea power up and becomes a balloon, which lets him fly. Not really a big fan of this one. Its control is just a little too slow for me, and a lot of times I just wish it would end. Something cool this level does teach you though is if you hop on enough enemies, you end up getting a 1-up, shown by stepping on all these Koopas that are at the end of the level. Oh, and look at that there, it's Bowser's castle in the distance. It's so cool that if you just take like the off-beaten path, it rewards you with the sight of the final level. Like, it's just a whole put together world. And considering where the final world is located on this map, this pipe makes perfect sense as to why you're able to see it. Anyway, moving on to Morton's castle, we meet some baby thwomps. They're there, they're adorable. And the big boy thwomps, they are not adorable. This level's got like a vertical section, which is not my favorite. It kinda has like an auto-scrolling feel to it, where you gotta wait for these blocks to move left and right, just so you can progress climbing. Now, vertical levels are fine. I mean, Super Mario Bros. 2 did it. I wasn't a big fan of it there either, but it's fine. We do meet a dry bones here. Later on, they start throwing bones at us. Other than that though, same as before. Alright, we make it to Morton. He uses his like Spider-Man powers in order to climb on that wall. and then stomp on you. So all you gotta do is stomp on him, of course. Can't wait to see how Mario destroys this property. Of course, he just drop kicks it and then starts hopping on it until it becomes rubble. This game is just so silly. Alright, Vanilla Dome. It's also fun that instead of calling it like worlds, it just actually has like a theming with the name. And I believe this is like the first like big circle level. Big circles representing that the level is much longer than normal, and the red signifying that there's a secret exit. This level has a strange layout where there's just a bunch of bricks in front of you. And maybe I should mention that these bricks, if you headbutt them like in previous games, they don't just break, they just flip over and over again, and you're able to pass through them, but eventually they'll become solid again. Sometimes I wonder what I'm looking at. But yeah, getting past this whole brick area is kind of easy once you get the cape. But just past that, we find a bunch of red outlines. Knowing that we got the yellow one and the green one, I guess it makes sense that there's probably other colors too. And it also kind of forms a set of stairs, which kind of makes you wonder what's over there, what's on top of them. Again, amazing game design. And right here, I got the star, and you're supposed to take out enough enemies to get a 1-up, and I killed myself for it. This Koopa jumped over my head, and I was like, no, I gotta get that 1-up. Lost a life anyway. I want to say worth it, but it wasn't really. Now here we got like Spiney's cousin, where they only have one spike on them, and they crawl on top of surfaces and loop around in a circle. Moving on to Vanilla Dome 2, it's like partially a water level, partially a land level, which is always interesting, but really this is where you get a real tricky secret, where you gotta take this P-switch past these wall of coins in order to use it, and fall through these other set of coins to get to the key. This game just loves its secrets, and later on the secrets get a little way too tricky. The secret exit takes us to the red switch, where today's puzzle is this rainbow shell, where I actually do end up doing this puzzle correctly. Hitting this P-switch lets the rainbow shell loose, and you have to get it to run over every enemy on this screen for your 1-up. Again, after seeing like these real kind of puzzles, it's kind of a shame that the first one is just hit a P-switch, but I mean, it is the first level, so I'll let it pass. Red blocks for all! Alright, back to Vanilla Dome 2, so we can get the real exit. We find another football player who's just kind of chilling here, but in a couple seconds he'll be doing the exact opposite of chilling. He uses the shadow clone jutsu and ends up creating 3 of himself, all ready to tackle you. I run away and just make it to the goal. Alright, the next Boo House, where we get these like dead Yoshi looking things. A little like sad. And hey, King Boo's back, but as a normal enemy. Weird. We enter a door and end up in this room that has these green circles that fly about. I have no idea what these are, but I guess it fits like the mysterious mood that this level brings. I do like that this level is called Vanilla Ghost House. It's just a basic ghost house, you know, nothing special. So vanilla. Alright, Vanilla Dome 3 has Blarg, a lava creature that growls at you when it attacks. Now that's a pretty good enemy. We go to the next level. So back in my Super Mario Bros. 1 video, I'm pretty sure I called the level that shot bullet bills at you every couple seconds the War Zone level, or the War level. Well, this is like that. There's just always bullet bills showing up at all time. Very Warzone-y, like Mario's under fire in all directions. I don't know if that's what they're implying, but just try your best to avoid them. Lemmy's Castle has a crafty start, where in order to get out of the floor that you start on, you have to like dig your way through or let Kamek shoot a block down. And these Kameks are such cool enemies too. They teleport and then just shoot from a distance. Any block they hit turns into like an enemy. Now Lemmy's got a little bit of a silly fight going on. He just sticks his head out with 2 decoys and you gotta pick the right one. Again, it's just so cool how they came up with different boss fights for each one. Well, sort of for each one. Now let's see how he demolishes this one. Oh wow, with the hammer this time? That's awesome. We head back to Vanilla Dome 1 in order to get the secret exit now that we had that red switch pressed. And a vertical level I don't mind. So this one really is just about going up and avoiding enemies along the way. And honestly, it's not a bad level. Now the next level, we're back outside again, which is also reflected when you enter the level. It's a pretty standard level, bunch of Koopas jumping around, you know, bombs being rained down by Umbrella. I guess this area is getting carpet bombed. And curiously enough, there's a great P-switch. Hit this thing and make every enemy turn into silver coins. It's weird, but hey, I'll take the 1-ups. Okay, but this next level is just straight up adorable. It's the dolphin level, with the spiny guy on the bottom that tries to tackle you. He's definitely not as scary as the big fish in Mario Bros. 3. In fact, he doesn't even swim too fast either. He just kind of stays in your general area. But these dolphins, you ride them in order to get to the end. Are these guys enemies? Do they deserve my favorite enemy award? Okay, well, the favorite ally award maybe, especially this one that's like looking at the camera. It's just so adorable. Then at the coins at the end pointing forward, this level is just so good feeling. And then a fortress, they make a return too. This one is underwater. Interesting choice for the first fortress I found, but it's just a dangerous level while you also have to deal with swimming mechanics. Nothing too crazy, except for this skeletal Goomba. At least I think it's a Goomba. turns into spikes sometimes, which makes it so you can't step on them. But at the end of the level, we run into Reznor. So this guy's got kind of that problem, you know, like the Birdo in Mario Bros 2 or the Boom Boom in Super Mario Bros 3. But might be worse. Now, there isn't as many of them in this game, but they just show up and they're the same boss fight every single time. It's honestly kind of baffling, and they're in every fortress. Alright, with those 4 guys down, we move on to the next level, an auto-scroller. Yay. But this one's got an interesting gimmick. Stepping on one tile makes the other one rise, which, you know, gets pretty tricky later on. At least this one keeps you engaged for most of the time. But the next level after that is just ruthless. You got all the cape flying guys just flying at you in every direction. There's just so many flying all the time, everywhere. It's so hard not to lose your power up here. And, you know, something I'm gonna mention now. So we could easily, like in any level, just grab the cape, get a runway, and just fly over the whole level. And sometimes when I play this game, I do that. But for the sake of getting footage and also, you know, trying to experience the game as it is, I tried not to do that when I didn't have to. Some levels I do, but most levels I definitely try to beat it more legitimately, just so I can get a feel for the levels they crafted. Alright, upon finishing this level, I do backtrack and head to the bridge below. And this level's got chainsaws riding on rails. Definitely not safe around here. So you gotta climb these ropes that also ride rails. A very creative level, I guess. But this next level though, it has that sumo bro that rains fire from above. This guy might earn my favorite enemy award. I had to think about it. Later in this level, there's this pipe that I take, and I'm like, oh boy, secret, but it's just a trap, like literally just a trap. You fall into a bed of water that just has 2 spiky fish trying to chase you. This game is just straight up rude sometimes. So it's also on this level where Yoshi eats some pink fruit and lays an egg, which out of it comes a cloud that shoots coins that don't look like any coins in this game. Kind of a weirdo. So with that Yoshi I picked up though, I head back to the previous level and hit this one block in order to get some wings. Having Yoshi touch those wings turned him blue, and now he can just fly with wings. And that's why I was pointing out like what different shells did when Yoshi ate them, because when he eats the blue shells he gets the wings that this blue Yoshi gets, and there's a red Yoshi that shoots fireballs whenever they eat stuff, and if you eat a red shell it does fireballs. It's just another like sense of wonder thing that this game provides, where it's like, wow, there's just different Yoshis and each one has different powers. But after this I really gotta do the level again because there's a secret somewhere here, and I almost forgot where it was. But then I noticed when you beat the level there's this arrow pointing farther ahead, which then I take my Yoshi there in order to drop him to his death. You're not a real Mario World player until you actually do this, you know? Like, we don't hate the Yoshis, it's just a part of the game where you get rewarded with the moon, and beating this level creates vines that go down into the water, where we find Soda Lake. Such a good naming convention. And this might be like my least played level in the whole game. So I guess a little backstory. I honestly never knew this path existed in all my years of playing until like very, very recently. This always felt like the fake school ground lie people would tell, but this one's true. So this level has like torpedo bills, underwater bullet bills, I guess. It's kind of a difficult level. Getting through it leads you to another star. And this star I always like wondered, like, what was the point of this star? There's no level connected to it. Maybe it's just to get a good look from the center of the map, I guess. But I guess now I know better. Alright, Ludwig's Castle. This level's pretty mean because you just gotta climb through like the vents, I guess. Very, very thin walls that make traversing this level difficult. But what's really odd about this level is that there's like a fake wall you could just jump through and then end up in a secret shortcut. Taking that shortcut leads me to this ceiling that's falling, and man, is this ceiling falling very anxiety inducing. So going through it far enough, you run to the switch that makes the ceiling go back up and then come back down, but all the while it's just looming over you, almost ready to crush you at any moment. Alright, and then we find Ludwig, who shoots fireballs, and when you step on him he turns into a shell. This is honestly most like the Super Mario Bros 3 version of themselves, but let's see how Mario takes down this castle now. Okay, so there's another switch to just blow it up again, and boom. Oh wait, it's flying? It's going? It's hit the mountain, and now the mountain's got a band-aid? Oh, poor mountain. Even more charming, the bandage stays on the world map. Welcome to the Forest of Illusion. Now, talking about my younger self again, when I made the connection that this is called the Forest of Illusion, and how almost nearly every level has a fake exit, almost like you're following the illusion, never to escape, that just blew my mind. Yeah, those were simpler times, I guess. But even now, I could still appreciate, like, how they incorporate that this forest is just trying its best to get you lost. Only way forward is to find those keys and get those secret exits. And hey, it's Wiggler. Contestant for Best Enemy Award? I'll think about that one. But stepping on a Wiggler turns him angry. Poor guy. So the next level is a water level that's not very enjoyable. You got these spiky urchin things that you gotta like swim in between. And again, they move at their own pace, so you just gotta watch for when they move. With this level having a very tricky secret exit. It's almost like you gotta walk through this wall in order to get to it. Kinda mean, but this secret exit rewards you with the final blue switch. Blue blocks for all. Can I just say how much of a disappointment it is that the red and blue blocks don't give you something? Like, at least the red one could have given you like a fire flower or something. I go back to that water level and then I beat it with the key in my hand, and then the key turns into a 1-up, and something that happens underwater when you get a 1-up is the 1-up just continues to fly away until it's nowhere to be seen. Why can't they just give me that 1-up, please? I don't need it actually. So the next level's got all the enemies trapped in a bubble, and if you tap those bubbles, they'll be released. Kinda makes you wonder what the ecosystem for this level is. I guess like bubbles are top of the food chain, just capturing anything and everything. Alright, we're gonna skip over to Forest of Illusion 4, where there's just this Lakitu who's fishing with a 1-up. It's just so funny because it's like, as a player, this is perfect bait, literally perfect bait. He's a great fisherman, he just knows what we want. But if you fall for the bait, he gets angry and just starts throwing down spinies. And it's like, look man, why did you offer me the 1-up if you're gonna get mad anyway? And it's just also so cool if you take down that Lakitu. You can steal his cloud and fly around. That's just such a nice touch. We also got Lakitus hiding in pipes. What are they doing in there? Is that where they live? Did their clouds like run out of gas and now they're waiting for it to recharge? Let's move on to the Forest Fortress. Fortress. Say that 3 times. So, awesome thing about this level is it actually has 2 exits. Not much of a difference by completing either one though, but the second exit rewards you with many 1-ups and an achievement for retro treatments. But to get there requires some serious skill. You gotta take a cape and then fly over this lava pit, but there's like fireballs also shooting up from you. If you don't got your timing down on how to fly, then you're gonna have a rough time, like I did. I had to redo this level like 4 times, maybe 5. I'm not embarrassed. Boringly enough though, at the end of the level we do find a Resnor, sorry. Also this level just straight up has saws running around. Like I get that other level had chainsaws, but this would like literally kill Mario. Not shrink him, just outright kill. Bowser's not messing around this time. Cut him in half, I guess. This is also the level where the Resnors killed me. My first time ever losing to them, I think, ever. More like the floor just came apart and I fell in by accident. But I'll give it to them as a win. Time for Roy's Castle, where we get this sneaky thing. It takes you across the whole level over this lava pit, so you gotta use it. Which is very auto-scrolly in nature, but it does keep it kinda fresh, because it's constantly moving in awkward ways. Then you got these cute little Bowsers mimicking Mario Bros. 1 Bowser, shooting fireballs. I know you're not the real deal, don't trick me. Roy's got them Spider-Man powers, so he also climbs up walls. Take him down and wait to see what Mario does next. Now this is just classic humor. The good old, hey, why is it not working? Checks up on it and blows up. This game just has so much personality to it. Now we're off to Chocolate Land. No Strawberry Land actually, there's vanilla and there's chocolate. Here we meet the dinos, where if you step on them they turn into kids and then shoot flamethrowers. They're a very neat enemy honestly, but the level itself is just kind of a wide open path. Alright, so this brew house has like another fisherman. I'm just gonna assume it's the Lakitu from the previous level that we stole his cloud from, but this guy's fishing with a fireball? No one's gonna bite that, man. Put that away. Bring out the good stuff like the 1-ups. But this next room though, it's got the cement block boos. This is the most like what the heck idea. So what if we get a boo, but every time you look at it, it turns to stone? Then you can use it as a platform in order to reach higher levels. I give massive points for the creativity. Now the level after that is one of the more stranger levels. You just have this tutorial box that just tells you that the time remaining or the coins you collect change the way this level plays out, and it's not kidding. This level will change the way it plays out, and I think at one point in time I did know how this used to work, but nowadays I don't remember. I just kind of ran through it and hoped for the best. Luckily my first try I get the key room, and the second try I actually get the normal exit, but dang, such an interesting idea. Here in Chocolate Island 3, it's one of those mountainy levels with a bunch of platforming. This level's kind of funny because if you just take the normal exit, you just go around in a circle. That's it, just, you know, unceremoniously. Here's the circle. But the secret exit is a little trickier. Like in that other level, you gotta get past the goal by going under it, so flying will do just fine. Reach the secret exit. Go on to the fortress level that has an interesting color palette. Everything's brown and dark, kinda like chocolate. Oh wait, so this level has like giant impalers that just come up and down. It's easy to take damage here, but this level focuses a lot on thwomps and thwips, but it's pretty fun all around. Get out of here, Reznor, I'm tired of you. The next level is just like a cave, which didn't give me too much trouble. This is where we meet my favorite enemy in the game. Say hello to the Mega Mole. I don't know who came up with the design that they needed shades, but that's amazing. And they have a big old smile. Now I was going to talk about that they're so cool they don't need to dig, but when I was thinking about it a little more, they're usually found in cave levels where they're running around in small corridors, which got me thinking that actually this is the hole that they dug. You're walking through the tunnels that they made, and that's why I think they're great. The level after that has a little bit of an interesting mechanic where there's a bunch of blocks and then you find a P-switch and then hitting that releases all the enemies trapped behind the blocks. It's an interesting design, but it goes by fast. And then the level is just a bunch of platforming, nothing too crazy. Just don't miss your step. Now instead of heading to the castle, there is one more level I still haven't done, so I'm gonna head down this pipe and let's go take a look. Once again, this pipe is located in a spot where it would make sense that Bowser's castle sits under. It's just so good attention to detail. Now, I don't think I talked about this yet, but you do meet the football players in this level that actually play football. I know you meet them earlier in the level, but I just decided to talk about them now because they're here. The most notable part is the end of the level where there's these yellow blocks where once you step on it, they start sinking into the lava, and it creates a time limit that you have to get to the end before you fall into the lava. But then once you make it to the other side, they just throw like 6 football players at you. What the heck is that? Overall, it's a pretty thrilling level. Leave the pipe, and would you look at that, it was a shortcut to the castle. Castle 6 was difficult for me. There is these spike column things that just outright kill you if they hit you. You end up taking a hit, and before you can get out you take another hit, which does the deal. So one small mistake even with a power up will send you back. Add on those saws that are everywhere, and even that room that mixes up the two in a very dangerous manner, just to be greeted at the very end with some really fast spike columns. This is the one where I'm like, can I make it through? I almost always get hit once. The next room had the ceiling that comes down and goes up. Be careful not to get crushed. And these sun enemies, they just loop around the block, but honestly I kinda like them a lot. Windy battle time, which is the same as that other one, but somehow the floor being flattened makes it a little easier to traverse, but I guess they make up with it by having her come out for a very short amount of time. Really, if you're just not standing in the right spot, it's almost impossible to hit her. Alright, let's see what he does to clear out this castle now. He gets a mop thing and then cleans it up. That's a very unique way to take care of the castle, I guess. Good on you, Mario, no destructive force. Now I gotta talk about the coolest level in this game. It's a level where it's next to like a wrecked ship, and when you start the level it's presented as like a boo house with the music and the enemy choices, but you're underwater for this one. So when I was younger, I never understood what was up with this level. I just always thought that an underwater boo level was neat, but now that I'm older and I played Super Mario Bros. 3, it's very clear what this level is supposed to be, and it almost feels chilling, because you start the level and you start to notice it kind of looks like an airship. It even has a bunch of cannons just shooting, and then even a pipe to enter the inside of the ship, where here you'll meet all the ghosts. And I know this is just a silly little platformer game, but I can't help but think these are all the souls that were lost in the ship, which kind of puts a very crazy context to what was happening in the third game. Unless it was a play, and if that play was reenacting what had happened. I'm thinking about this too much. We enter another pipe and just start free falling with a star. This part just feels very abstract to me, just a bunch of enemies falling with you and a bunch of coins. But we make it to the bottom where there's water, and then we see it. The question mark orb from the previous game, and that just seals the deal for what they were trying to go for with this level. Collect it and we beat the fortress, the sunken ghost ship. Rest in peace. After beating it, Bowser's lair shows up. It's a nice touch that it has to appear because you've been walking around it this whole time. Even a circle of rocks that kind of displayed where it should be showing up, which is also why I like where the pipes were located. The pipes were just located right outside the circle of where this area should be. It's such a good touch. We enter and we start the first level. Now this is the Mega Mole level. They are just everywhere and this place is like a maze. Again, I like to think that they dug these caves and you're just running through it to get past it. And the cape came in handy here, being able to twirl and take them out with ease. There's this odd pipe here that takes you to a bonus game, and then the pipe then leads you backwards in the level. I didn't appreciate that very much. We beat that level and then we get greeted to the next one. This one has 2 paths, which is cool, but this might be my least favorite level in the whole game. Let's give it the worst level award. It's like cool on paper, but just not fun to go through. It starts easy enough with a bunch of platforms moving up and down and you just gotta jump between them. It's the second half that I have a real problem with. So this god dang part of the level is practically an auto-scroller. As the platforms rise and lower, you gotta get to the safe spots in order to continue. The amount of times you have to wait to get the window of opportunity to get through makes this level pretty boring, especially when you miss your chance and you have to wait for the whole level to cycle. And then the punishment for getting the wrong timing is death, which means you have to repeat this whole section once again. It's difficult, but I just don't know what they were thinking with this level. But at least the last part is run to the finish. And one more thing, to beat the level, you have to get past that boring part, and to get the secret exit, you gotta get past that boring part once again. And the secret exit is kind of tricky because you have to jump over the stage on the left side. This whole level just feels obtuse. And speaking of obtuse levels, this next level I didn't mind as much. I actually found it very interesting. It's a boo level and it's very tiny. You start with a couple of platforming, easy enough, but then you enter this one room where you get a P-switch. Hit the switch and you can go left or right. Going left resets the level, which, classic boo house fashion. Going right leads you to a bunch of doors, which once again, trial and error, same thing in Super Mario Bros. 3. But once you find the correct door, you end up in a room with a mystery block. You hit that block and then you get to play Snake. Now the amount of years that I didn't know that these coins were playing Snake is really high. You use the D-pad to control where the coins move, and then you use a P-switch in order to turn those coins into blocks so you can get to the top of the level. And that's how you get the secret exit. One of those other random amounts of doors has the normal exit, but oddly enough, I thought this was a fantastic level. We go on to the next level and we meet another new mechanic. These platforms that give up on life whenever they run out of time. Me too, buddy. Overall, it's a very fun level with a lot of precise platforming and timing, very fitting for the last world. The next level has football players that are digging up rocks. I guess their contract ended and they need a side hustle in a random cave. I guess they're mining. This level's got many dangerous jumps over lava, but what's interesting about this level is there's a secret exit placed right in front of the normal exit, but the only way to get the secret exit is if you took a Yoshi all the way to the end of the level. Again, another very smart way to hide a secret exit in plain sight, and this secret exit gets you another Star World. We head to this fortress level that needed a secret exit to get, and oh my god, is that the spike columns again? My biggest fear. And this time you got a platform in the middle of timing these spike columns. This level is the stuff of nightmares. Now I would say I lost a lot of lives here, but at this point it didn't matter. I hit 99 lives a few levels ago. Dom Resnor's down, and what's really cool about this secret path is beating it leads you to the back rooms of Bowser's castle, which is such a good idea. Of course there could be a way to go to the back of the castle instead of just walking in through the front. And it just takes you to the boss much sooner if you take this path. But we won't be doing that. We play fair and square here. So we head back to Castle 7. And this level is not, it's not my favorite. You just gotta follow the snaky blocks all the way through the whole level. It's a little boring, and if you die, you have to wait for the whole thing to happen again. The latter half is much more interesting, with Kameks and Impalers everywhere. Then we fight Larry, who's just the same boss fight as Iggy, but with more fireballs everywhere. Iggy 2.0. Now this last one is really the funniest way he handles the castle. It's a perfect example of how I kind of feel this far into the game. Mario just picks it up, whatever, and then just kicks it away. He's so done with this journey. This game just has such good, slapstick humor. Now we have the entrance to Bowser's castle, but I do want to take a little detour. Whenever I beat this game, I always complete these levels, so I'm gonna head there now. Taking these star paths takes you to Star World, high above the clouds with the moon in the background. This is the perfect chill spot of this game. Just get a load of all of that. Now these levels are extra tricky. Extra tricky. Each level can only be progressed if you get the secret exit. Completing the level normally will just lead you back to the star. Given how this level is supposed to be like a secret zone, it makes sense that the game is a little more difficult and a little more mean. So the first Star World is nothing too crazy really. Just keep digging using the spin jump. It's always nice to see that you can dig with Yoshi if you spin jump on top of Yoshi. The next level is a water level, but this is a cool level that actually teaches you how baby Yoshis work. And honestly, I think you only find baby Yoshis in Star World. Guess Yoshis come from the stars. So you pick up a baby Yoshi and you have him eat a bunch of enemies. Then he turns into a... Is that a blue Yoshi? I guess Yoshis in Star World just come in different colors, which we saw earlier when we give Yoshi wings, but this is where they're born. The blue one lets you fly, the red one lets you spit fireballs, and the yellow one lets you make a little earthquake. It's so cool just to see these kind of abilities come out of these Yoshis. The secret exit being under the pipe that you exit from is so mean. Alright, the third level is kind of like an escape room in the way that you're just kind of in a room with some stuff you can do and an exit right ahead of you, but taking that exit doesn't get you further ahead, so you gotta find out what to do. Once you figure out that if you take down Lakitu you can ride his cloud to the top, then you just find a room at the top that has the secret exit and secret key. I just always loved how short this level was, and it's just a little thinker of a level. Next Star World level is just a very platformy level, really testing out if you know how to platform, with the secret exit being down below and you need to have already hit those colored switches before. Alright, the last star level is a semi-platforming level with also the coin trail that plays Snake. Same as the Boo House, but this time you gotta get across the whole level with it. but the tricky secret exit is located in the sky. This one requires that you hit all the switches in order to get to the secret exit, which is a good reward. And assuming that you found these worlds, the game just assumes you already got all those switches anyway. Now this specific secret exit lets you walk on top of the mountain in the middle of the star world. You take that star and you enter the special world. This is like the developer back room or something. A world dedicated on challenging you with all of these levels. This game just keeps giving. After you think you saw it all, you find this world and it's just mesmerizing. But this first level isn't too exciting. Just a small level where you climb up, climb down, and then run across the field. But the enemy placements are getting a little trickier. In a way, it's testing how well you can climb vines. And this second level is where it truly gets brutal right off the bat. Tricky platforming across pipes, and one of those balloon power-ups. And it's just so mean. You gotta pick up this balloon power-up so you can get across the whole level, but the whole time there's the football players that play baseball, and they're all just throwing stuff at you non-stop, and flowers shooting stuff at you, and Koopas flying around. But at least it's over pretty quick, but I did lose a lot of lives here. The next level has an on-rail platform, and you better hope you caught the right rail or else you're just gonna fall off. There was these fuzzy guys in this specific part of the level that just always killed me. I don't know what it was, but every time I got here, they would get me. I ended up taking a different path in order to get around them. The next level is this icy colored level with a bunch of enemies, and towards the middle of the level, there's a bunch of fish that are flying at you. Luckily, it gives you a star, but that star makes you want to run faster, and just after that part, there's a lot of precise platforming, like 1 block wide stuff. I used the blue Yoshi to help me out with this level. Alright, the next one is familiar. But like, how is it familiar if you've never been here before? And then it hits you. This is the intro to the title screen. They made it into a whole level that's hidden at the very end of the game in a secret path. And this kind of stuff just tickles me so much. Like the game is rewarding you with some backstage secrets that you earned because you got this far into the game. The level itself is pretty tame though. A bunch of spiky dudes and a bunch of football guys at the end. But let's move on to the next one. Now typically this next level is the one that is frustrating because it's a normal level but you have to swim through the whole thing. It's a fascinating gimmick, and by the end the water level starts rising and lowering, and when you get to this point you just kind of wait for the water to lower enough for you to actually, platform through the level. It is a fun touch that these fishes though are completely vulnerable when there's no water, and then as soon as they touch a little bit of water, suddenly you can't do anything to them. Alright, now the second to last level is the level that I literally lost so many lives on, and I do remember this level being the most difficult back then. It's a forest level with wigglers and bullet bills, so many bullet bills. It even has this one enemy which I don't know if it was anywhere else in the game. It's a little fireball that leaves a fire trail whenever it jumps. It requires some serious precision in order for you to get through it, and some points where you gotta pick up a spring and then take it to a wall so you can jump over that wall. Now the final level just feels more like a hoorah more than anything. It's got so many different enemies, and most of these enemies are not really placed in a difficult spot, so it ends up feeling more like a normal level. That is until you make it to the end, and then the game just compliments you with, "You are a super player." It's always so fun when they message you like this, and collecting the coins is always nice too. Now beating that level changes the whole world to be slightly different. Like, Koopas become these bubblehead dudes. I never really liked this too much, but it is fun to see some crazy wacky stuff as your reward. Finally, it's about time we enter Bowser's castle, and off the bat it's already pretty interesting. I like how this hallway is just outright numbered. Each number takes you down a different path with a different challenge. Considering how big this castle should be, I guess it makes sense that there is multiple ways to get through this, with each room having a different challenge. Just because I was completely curious, I decided to go through each one. So number 1 is a side-scrolling level. Wham wham. At least it's not too long. Well, just to explain, once you get through 1, 2, 3, or 4 of your choosing, you end up at the next hallway, which is 5, 6, 7, 8. Then that leads you to the back rooms. Next, I went through room 5, which has my literal mortal enemy, the spike columns. I end up dying here. But I guess it's time to check out, room 2. This room has the cages, and in my opinion, is the easiest one. Every time I lost a life, I always went through this room to get back to the second hallway. Dying in room 5 again, I decided to explore room 3. This one kind of has like a weird maze layout to it, and also has the Mecha Koopas, which, if you haven't played this game before, it's pretty handy to get used to how to throw them and how to deal with them. Then I try room 5 again, let's see what happens. This time I actually make it. And here's the back rooms. Well, I keep calling it that because there's like a light above you and you have to turn on the lights. Almost like no one is back here and Mario's sneaking through the back of the castle in a way. And here's where we meet Ninji, my beloved, for the first time. Kinda strange they're all the way back here, hiding in the shadows, because I guess they're ninjas. That's funny. I choose to lose my life here in order to go through the rest of the rooms because, again, very curious. 4 is a room all about the moving platforms and also the sun guys that go around in circles. not very difficult. Alright, room 6 was super interesting. It was a vertical hallway room, but underwater. And this room also gives you access to a mushroom. So in a way, it pays to explore each and every room to find out which one has, items that you're looking for. Alright, room 7 is honestly kind of dangerous. It's got those Bowsers that shoot fireballs and new golden Bowsers that hop around. And room 8 might actually be the best room. It's the room where Bowser keeps all of his captive football players. I like to think he owns a team and just keeps them in here in captivity for some reason, full of spikes. But what makes this room really great is that you actually get the cape if you have the green block filled in. And now it's time to challenge Bowser. This screen has some interesting block tiles that you stand on, but honestly kind of disappointing that it's just a black background. I would have appreciated some stars or something just to give it a little more depth, but at least you get lightning strikes. I mean, can't argue with that. And also the introduction of the Koopa clown car. This goofy doofus just smiling at me. And here's an odd opinion I have. I honestly prefer the Bowser from Super Mario Bros. 3. Just something about having a one-on-one duel, and the way he just feels much more involved in a way. This Bowser just feels like he doesn't really care to handle you. He's like, goofy gadgets go. Maybe it's like the lack of sprites that he has. There's just not much emotion on him. And gosh darn propeller under him, that hurts. And yeah, in order to hurt him, you gotta throw those Mecha Koopas back up at him. Which is why at the beginning of this video, all those years ago, I was saying how interesting it is that there's multiple times in this game where the game tries to have you throw things upward like that, just to be the mechanic to beat the boss. And I think that's super cool. Now looking at it, I feel like the Koopa clown car has more emotion than Bowser does really. But also going back a little, it's also really fun to see that Peach actually throws out mushrooms to help you out. I just love whenever Peach has any sort of agency. Now with Peach saved, we get a kiss. Classic ending to a Mario, I guess. And now they can return back to their vacation, because I forgot that's what this was about. Always a nice touch with the fireworks, and a really nice, celebration music at the end. Now, literally the peak of this game. This song at the end just, I don't know, fills me with so many emotions. Thinking about the journey we had, thinking about how many secrets we uncovered, how much fun we had. This song literally means too much to me. With a nice touch with Yoshi coming back to carry Peach back home. That's just really fun. And best of all, an ending that actually shows what you fought for. And even these Yoshis having a lot of sprites, showing a lot of their emotion. More than Bowser did during his fight. Then the classic enemy cast roll call, where I gotta just say once again that the music in this game is just so good. The end with this beautiful image. What an amazing game. This really is a game that just means too much to me. And while it could be nostalgia talking, I really think that if anyone picks up this game and gives it a fair shot, they would enjoy it just as much. Getting lost in the world, getting lost in the mechanics of the game, enjoying the platforming, the discoveries, and then a perfect ending. What more could you want? It's because of that I think that this game is gonna be #1 on my list of rankings. Shocker. But really there are some parts of this game that Super Mario Bros. 3 has them beat. I think the difficulty curve in Super Mario Bros. 3 is much better. That game really put me to the test, unlike this game where I ended up with 99 lives by accident. I think Super Mario Bros. 3 also came up with much more interesting ideas, at least a greater variety. But in almost everything else, I think this game wins. Well, with that, we're gonna go over the achievements I got for the game. Here they are, scrolling down. And man, this video kind of took me a bit longer to release. There's just so much stuff I want to say about this game, and honestly, I feel like I haven't said enough yet. But I got to the end, so I think it's time to wrap it up. Next game on the list is gonna be Super Mario Kart. It's a crazy pivot, I know, but it's next game in the release order, so here goes. I hope to see you guys in the next video. And if you made it this far, maybe subscribe, leave a comment, I don't know. I do really plan on doing this. I enjoy it and I like the progress I've been making, so maybe one day I can do this full time with people who support me. But maybe I'm just dreaming too big. But really that's my ultimate goal. Well then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.